I never thought when I first started listening back in 1994, that's how far I go back, listen to Howard Stern. So again, 26 years. Now, I haven't listened over the last couple of years because I don't have Sirius, but I listened through him all the way up until the 2000s, for as long as he was in terrestrial radio, and then he left, and he has had an amazing career on Sirius, along with his career that has spanned over 40 years, right? No question. DC 101 to WNBC to K Rock to now. Nothing will take away the entertainment and enjoyment I had listening to him, having the likes of Gilbert Gottfried or Pat Cooper, or listening to him with Sam Kinison fighting against Jessica Hahn and all this bullshit that was going on, right? Or Morton Downey fighting with an ex-worker. Like, all that kind of shit was great. Oh, you just got to look at Crucified by the SEC, which I have the CD collection somewhere sitting around my house. I don't know where Howard Stern is now. This Howard Stern that's out there today, the 66-year-old Howard Stern that is hosting his show on SiriusXM 3 days a week, kind of like in all of the Johnny Carson kind of feel of the Tonight Show back in the day when he was finishing up. Howard Stern's done. This is jumping the shark. Why is he fighting with the son of the president? And this, listen, and I do not want to make this political. It doesn't matter about that. Throw that out of your mind, okay? First of all, if you need him on my politics, I am a complete independent. I'm a fence sitter, okay? I do not play against anybody. I'm a watchdog, all right? When it comes to media, when it comes to other things, it doesn't matter. Listen, I am more towards, if you need to put anything towards me, I don't get tagged any which way of whichever party you want to go and give. I could give a shit. Let me just make that first point. Now, what I'm saying here, it's not so much the fact that Howard Stern is having a face-off with somebody, basically having a Twitter battle, but he doesn't do Twitter. Howard will just go and get on his mouthpiece and talk. That's fine. But this fight, it's pathetic because of the fact that he's changing himself. This is not the same Howard Stern. Okay? If that was the case, then why the hell did you have Donald Trump on for all those episodes and all those appearances forever? And it's not just that. It's the fact that he's done that with a lot of different people in the past. As he has grown in stature, it's something that he's done where, Artie Lang has been vocal about it. Jackie Martling's been vocal about it. But of course, with the power and the omnipotence of Howard Stern being the radio god he's been for 40 years, who has been the trendsetter forever. Listen, he is the guy of which people today on FM radio and AM radio will still follow his playbook. They do. There are still stations that play this playbook, which is fine. But I know for a fact that this guy, Howard Stern right now that we know of, is no longer what he once was. It's a shame. And I actually said this, and I'll tell you when we actually saw this happen, was last year when he put out his book. Crying, like basically just the things he should have just kept to his therapist, which he has been seeing forever. And then he needs to apologize and take back and basically recompense. He needs to atone for his sins for all that he's done. When he did that, that's when I lost faith in the man. The man that this guy who I followed that career for a long time, and I really enjoyed his program. I'm one of those people that enjoyed more the 10 o'clock news when he does it and it rolls into like 11 o'clock, almost 12. That's when I enjoyed his program. And when they're bashing each other, like I really enjoyed it. But this right here, this is bad. He placates the celebrities. Now he gets the biggest celebrities in the world. And it used to be forever, the celebrities would never go on his show because it was too graphic. And the things he would get out of guests were too much. And he felt sorry for doing what he did. Why? Why are you apologizing for your success? There's one thing to be said about feeling bad about how your marriage fell apart, your first marriage, and what happened with your kids. I can understand that, and I can appreciate that. But the craft of your show, when you're taking back all those years of work, a lot of work that you did, the E show, the Channel 9 show, WWOR, to all of it. And to go ahead and then start saying, I take it all back. That was what got me here. Now it's getting worse. I never heard him talk about politics that much. I know he bashed Bush in a while. He bashed, other things. Says he's a Republican, according to the story from the Daily News. But politics never became a thing to him. All of a sudden, it's because of how the certain environment is right now. Entertainment, people have to talk their politics. It's as if it's a requirement. It's a prerequisite. So you have to say something. And this, it's a shame. And there are stories I can find across the board. The radio industry, not happy. And there are a lot of fans that feel isolated and outcast because he has abandoned his original fan base, the fan base that brought him to the prominence that he is in, okay? Him fighting with Scott the Engineer, him fighting with Tom Chiusano, him fighting with Pig Vomit, all of that, him being the arbiter, him being the trendsetter, breaking down walls. That's the Howard Stern I want to remember, not this shit. This is embarrassing, and it's a shame. And again, I can show you stories, but let me get into the original story of what we had this about, the current reason why Howard Stern's back in the news, because he's been going after Trump and the family for whatever reason. I don't care why, but again, I don't know if he's going to win this or not, but again, why are we going this route? Because the reason is Howard wasn't getting picked on. He wasn't punching back. He's punching. For what? What provoked him to do this in the first place? But he's decided to do it. At this time of his career, his contract is coming up. The chance to do another 5 years or whatever he wants with Sirius. And either which way, even if it doesn't sign a contract to do more of the Hut radio show, his archives are still going to be going on through Sirius for what, the next decade? So he's fine on money. He's had lots of success. Yeah, listen, he did get pushed down. He got stomped down. He did get screwed out of a couple of projects. Okay, the show Are You Hot? That was absolutely a copycat of what he was doing on TV. The E Show. The E Show, you look at that today, and I actually interviewed Larry Namer, the guy, one of the people that originally pioneered E Entertainment Television. The guy was part of the company originally that got Howard Stern to bring his show to E Channel. Okay, when that show was great. And the idea that you got him there to do the radio experience, and every YouTube responder, you see them at a radio studio. You know why? Because he did it first. As far back as the 90s, 25 years ago, we still see this today. And that's because of Howard Stern. And because he called his own shots. He can still do that. But I think he's tired of fighting. I think he's tired of fighting the fight, and he is placated. He has capitulated to Hollywood. He's capitulated to the celebrities, to the establishment. This guy was a figurehead of anti-establishment. The last of a dying breed. That's what he said on his final broadcast on terrestrial radio. The last of a dying breed. That's what he was saying at the end of his thing. And this is the way he's going to go out. I don't like it. And again, I am not trying to bash the guy. I'm trying to make the point of saying, why is he going this route? Why is it this is where he wants to go? Is this the battle he wants to go ahead and fight? Is this what he wants to go ahead and really rest his career on? Going down and abandoning and isolating a fan base that actually follows you? Because that's the one thing that was being said, is that it is a working class fan base. The people that would work, getting up at 5, 6 in the morning, listen to him all over New York and all over the country. We all listen to him. We woke up to the man, whatever interviews he had with somebody, it was worth listening to. And, listening to 10-minute commercial breaks. Who else would you do that for? He still does it, except in 7 minutes now. But it still comes in the fact that he allows himself to get agitated with this. Again, I see some celebrities doing that, and it's whatever. Okay, you want to bring your politics into the conversation? It doesn't matter. I could care less. I would prefer entertain us. If you want politics, Jesus, the AM dial has loads of them. I don't need to hear that. I don't come to Howard Stern to hear about politics. But for some reason, he thinks that's a topic he would talk about now. Do you think he would talk about that now? And the kind of stuff he talked about with politicians, it would be like when with Christine Todd Whitman having a rest stop being named after him. Remember that? Did he ever talk about Mario Cuomo or Dinkins or Giuliani or whatever, or Ed Koch? Did he really go after local politics or national politics that much? I don't remember him doing that much. He had other things better to do, more things to entertain us. Now, one reason could be that his shtick, I mean, he can't do the same stuff he was doing before because we are in a much more socially conscious, woke culture society. So some of the things he said back in the day, yeah, he can't probably say anymore. So if he doesn't want to say it, fine. But to apologize for it, you're being made to apologize. That's the whole point. Anyway, in this story here. So Howard Stern went small game hunting. And now this story actually talks more about the fact that Trump Jr. hunts. And, well, okay, whatever. So then all the comments are being made. Again, I'm not going to bring up. Now, the thing is, the gist of the story was that Howard Stern wasn't like throwing names at Trump Jr. He basically just was doing more, sarcastic genius. He calling him a genius and saying, what a macho guy for hunting, defenseless animals. I get it. And that's part of his gimmick. Like he would do that. Okay, I get that. Got it. But again, why him? Why politics? Why does it matter? Anyway, this is what he's got. But it doesn't make a difference to me. But again, I just don't care. Now, Stern, he says he largely identifies himself as a Republican, ran for government as a pro-death penalty candidate in 1994. And, during the pandemic, he's been taking aim at President Trump. Okay. He urged fanatics for the president to all take disinfectant and drop dead after the president held a press conference, suggesting, yeah, we know all that story. If you watch politics, if you know anything about anything, you know this story. I'm not going to bring it up. Again, the whole story is it's the fight he's picking. For what? So again, I can go back to stories about the fact that, this is from, looking at Howard Stern's Jump the Shark. And this particular story I'm getting from unpublished articles tells you a lot because you're looking at the fact that he brought the show over 2006 and, did America's Got Talent. And I'll tell you what, the fact that he got that show says a lot. He got his mainstream praise. And good for him. He did a great job on that show. And he got paid a lot. He got paid handsomely for doing that show. Good for him. But, he only wanted to do so much. So now, here's what the story says, is that the spike continues solid ratings, which the ratings are not solid anymore. Because, it's only, I think it's about out of 30 million people that actually subscribe to SiriusXM, 3 million of those listeners still are there for Stern. That's the reason why they're there. Sirius is diversified and found themselves. Listen, Sirius did a great job by bringing him on because he brought listeners. He absolutely brought subscribers on board. But, in the time that he's been around in 15 years, Sirius is diversified into something much more where there are other options, other reasons to listen to the network because of the success that Howard Stern brought. But for Sirius, they're just showing loyalty to the demand. And that's fine. I can understand that part. But again, at what point do you say to yourself, Howard, I would prefer him to go ahead and do it like, go on and move along on the route of like a David Letterman, have an interview show, do television, or do it like the radio like you do, but do it as a set thing where you're doing a series of interviews. And don't put yourself out there to have to do a show every day. You're doing 3 days a week. You don't even have to put out the effort. Now, if it's the fact that you have all those people that you're serving that are a part of your staff, of which, that $500 million that you get from Sirius from your last contract per year was to help the staff. And I get it, we were talking about the Fred Nortons and the Gary Delbades and the Ronald Quivers. I get it. It's a loyalty to his people as well. But again, if they haven't saved their money in 25 years, they've been doing this show, or 30 or 40 years, at this point, everybody's getting older. All right. The whole crew is getting older. And you have all these other people, the Whack Pack, which not even the Whack Pack's there so much anymore. There's just certain people that are part of the show that get kind of thrown into the gist. But, there's people that were there and they're gone now because of the fact that, Howard, he loses favor with people. And I'll show you a couple of those stories before I can wrap this up. So in this story here, despite continued ratings on his SiriusXM satellite radio show, It's overstayed its welcome. It may have overstayed its welcome in the public's collective consciousness. And it spells imminent danger for the show as its fans get older and die off, and they're not being replaced by any younger listeners, which is exactly what's happening right now. Because people are not listening to the radio. I don't even know if the satellite radio audience is really attaching to him. But again, it's not because he needs to find younger listeners. It's because he's getting older. His show can't continue. He can't do it forever. I'd rather he just go off with Beth, enjoy his life. And, he's got more than enough money to do with. Does he really need to keep working like he does? I would prefer him to go ahead and branch out like he did with America's Got Talent and do something else with his career. At this point of his career, he can do whatever he wants. Do some passion projects. Do you have to do the radio? Do you feel like you're indebted to the audience? You're apologizing to them. You're apologizing for entertaining them for 30 plus years. For more than that, actually. But you're apologizing for everything that you've done in the past. And then this, I don't know if this is a gimmick to get him clickbait or to get people listening to the show. I don't know if it's that so much. I don't think it matters to him. But it's the kind of fight. This wouldn't be something he would normally have. People didn't enjoy the fights with this. With people in DC. Come on, he has people in New York. He has TV show hosts. He has other people to go after. And the thing is, when you think about it, there's probably other people I would see on the shows they would have on that I don't know if they would ever want to go ahead and see him doing this. You think Joan Rivers or Richard Simmons or Gilbert Gottfried would really care about all this stuff? Really? That's what I see. You think Sam Kinison would be on this show the way it is right now? No. Andrew Dice Clay, even if it was still, very prominent, and that's some Dice. He got a Showtime show. At least he's been doing something. He still does stand up. He's doing okay. So he could have still kept going on the show, but then they had their fight and they had their back and forth, whatever. And again, the fights that he has, those kind of things are of legend. But for whatever reason, he decided to do what he's doing right now, and now he's upset and he wants to go and start bashing somebody that he had on, or basically somebody who is related to the person he had on multiple times, all the time on a show. And for whatever reason, I guess the establishment that placates to him that he is apologizing to, they're all upset that he ever had him on the show. It's like, oh my God, I committed a sin by having the current president on my old show for all these years. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Let me just bash somebody else one more time because I was so sorry what I did. You know what? What are you going to do? It's a no-win situation. Why are you going to go ahead? It's a no-win situation. Why even bother playing up to it? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, he doesn't want to quit. And it's fine, okay? He had issues with his divorce. There's 15 reasons this article shows about how he jumped the shark. When Robert Quivers had her cancer scare, right? We talked about that. Then you had the issue with Trump. And then, he's fired a lot of people on this show. And the fact that he really just, you'd think that show's always been so open about everything, right? The Howard 100 News team, when he was doing the wrap-up show, all of the things that were going on, no longer around. He's not there as much as it was anymore. And, he uses the kind of this contract to negotiate better deals for himself. You had past guests that he's, no longer with. So whatever it is, Artie Lang, Crazy Cabby, all these different people that were on the show. And they're always, for whatever reasons that, for whatever reason, he gets, it's like a mafia kind of thing. It's like, he's not, and you're not in Stern's favor anymore. So you're castigated. No longer on the show. It's things like that. And then, it's a lot of this stuff. No more wrap-up show. And remember, he got to do TV shows. He did Son of the Beach. I mean, he did a lot of stuff. He's done so much in his career. What else did he need to do? What else is there for him to do? Unless he's just bored. And he feels like he has to keep doing the show. He wants to do something to keep him going. I just think he could do something else. I want him to continue to work. That's the whole point. I want him to continue to entertain and do what he does. Because there's nothing else. There is something to be said every time that guy gets on a show, okay? You throw him on Colbert or Kim or whatever, he's doing good, right? When he was on Letterman's show, Letterman was unpredictable what was going to happen, right? And that's how it worked. And for whatever reason, he changed. And I look at other shows where the same thing happens, and it's just like, again, there's just so much that he's done, and it's just people are not happy about it. I mean, it's look, I'm looking right now this right here about people saying he jumped the shark, and you can just go back and this is going back to August 2018 when he put out the book. So everybody right now, look at the multiple complaints, all upset, just not happy about what had happened to him. It's a shame, but he decided to go and do this, and he's 66 years old. Listen, he has nothing else to prove. You did it, okay? Take a Radio Hall of Fame award, get your accolades. You're a legend. You're a legend of radio. Thank you for all the years you've given to us. Now it's time to go. Now it's time for you to go ahead and move on to something bigger and better. Do what you're going to do with the contract or the archives for your show. Keep it on SiriusXM. Do what you got to do. You got to archive. You did all the work for it. Great. We have all that great content to go ahead and follow on through. And just go to the sunset, man. That's enough. Enough of these tired, bad. This is not going to do well. And you're not getting back your fan base as a result of doing this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. And I don't care about anybody, complaining about, you don't like Trump. Fine. Good. All that you want. I'm not stopping anybody. I'm a free speech guy, okay? I want everybody to go and say what they want to say. That's fine. You want to go ahead and make all the jokes you want? Howard can do it the same way too. But it's like the fighting, it's like, for what? That's my point. For what? After all that you've done, why is it you want to go this route? I mean, he's been more important about having, particular celebrities on his shows, and that's what he cares about. Because he's more concerned about wanting to, he's more concerned about just, I don't know who he's trying to serve. But it's not his listeners anymore. It's for him. So